Hey traders, and welcome to another video. The trade you see on the screen is a trade we had this week that is based on a very easy Forex strategy that has proven to give me some insane profits over the years. This strategy not only works in Forex, but I also use it in stocks and in crypto. So throughout this video, I'm going to be explaining the entire strategy to you. And we're also going to take a look at the entire Forex market. And I'm going to explain to you what I'm looking for going into next week based on this strategy to get you to a point of completely understanding the strategy. I'll also be giving you my analysis based on this strategy in the crypto market with Bitcoin and Ethereum. So if that sounds good, and if you want to be alerted the next time we come out with videos just like this, be sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button and the notification bell. Like the video to help me out with that YouTube algorithm. Follow us over on Instagram at The Trading Channel. I'm gonna let the intro and disclaimer roll, and I'll see you directly after. Let's go ahead and get started taking a look here at the Aussie Canada. So this is an extremely easy strategy. When I say easy, it's based on two different market conditions and then based on stops and targets. That's it, okay? So let's take a look first out at a higher time frame. You will have to know how to go from one time frame to the other, but what we're doing essentially on the higher time frame, whenever I actually started looking for this trade, this is about where price was. And on the higher time frame, all I was looking for is a major level of structure. The way I point out these major levels of structure, if you've seen the channel or seen a few of the videos on the channel, then you already know, is just looking for levels of price that have been tested multiple times. And they have to be recently tested. What I mean by recently is price was coming down to a level of major structure support. That is this level right here. This is the next level of support price was going to hit if it continued down. After realizing that, I just checked to see if it's been tested multiple times in the past. After all of that comes together, I drop down one time frame. So I'm going from the daily, now going down to the 4 hour. And what I was looking for is just a chart pattern. Guys, that's how simple this strategy is. And I know I get a lot of comments of traders that I guess are in disbelief, and they're like, Steven, there's no way something that simple really works. And the truth is, I've been trading like this for years. For those of you who have been a part of the channel for a while, you've seen me explain strategies very similar or exactly like this multiple times. But if you haven't been a part of the channel, or if you're still struggling with it, that's why I want to explain it one more time here today. I say one more, I'll do videos like this probably forever. But here we go. As you can see, we ended up putting in what? At this point, price came down to my level of structure, put in a shoulder, put in what looks to be a neckline, the head of what looks to be a head and shoulders pattern. If you're familiar, you've probably already spotted that. After this, I just wait for a pullback to my previous shoulder. This is the way I trade head and shoulders patterns. So with that being the case, I just waited for that pullback and some confirmation, big ass green candle confirmation, and I placed the order. Now, does it work every time? No. And that may be the reason, if you're someone who's been struggling to trade, that you've had so much trouble, is because you're expecting to find strategies that work every single time you place a trade. Unfortunately, that does not exist. So what we have to do as traders is find a way of trading that gives us an edge or a advantage or a money-making profitable system that plays out over a long period of time out of, let's say, 100 trades. In terms of one trade, do you really think that I had any idea of what this Aussie Canada trade was actually going to do? Did you think I knew that it was going to make me somewhere near 80 to 100 pips? And the reason I ask that is because I get questions and emails from traders and students constantly, and they'll give me a lot of analysis that they've done on a chart, and they'll ask Steven, and you may have done this before, they'll ask Steven, do you think this trade's going to win? After all their analysis they've done, the market's oversold, it's at a level of structure on a higher time frame, it put in a chart pattern. Do you think the trade's going to win? What do you think my answer is? Do I have any idea if a trade is going to win or not? Does anybody know if a single trade is going to win or not? The answer is no. If we knew for a fact if a trade was going to win, I would go get the biggest loan that my credit score would allow. I would, if I just knew right now the Aussie Canada would go up 10 pips, I would put my life savings on the line, sell everything I had, and go get a loan for as much as possible. I would leverage to the max. I would buy, wait for that 10 pips, and I would sell. Right? That wouldn't anybody? But none of us know. The reason I don't do that is because nobody knows exactly what the market's going to do. Again, as traders, we're not trading based on knowing what's going to happen. We're trading based on a statistic advantage. So if I get an email asking, hey, Steven, is this trade going to win? And it's got a ton of analysis on it, I have no idea if that trade's going to win. If that trade has a projected positive outcome over a long series of trades and you're using good risk management, then it's probably a good idea to take it, but that is determined by the strategy itself. So speaking of strategies, after my little rant there, let's go ahead and take a look, dive a little deeper into this exact strategy. Again, we're waiting for a higher time frame level of structure. For me, that's the daily chart to be touched. That's my very first condition. You guys know, if you're a part of the channel / have seen some of the videos, this is how I build out entries. CEST. This stands for conditions for my entry, my actual entry reason, my stops, and my targets. Every trade I place, and in my opinion, every trade you place, should consist of conditions, entry, stop, and target. So with that being the case, let's discuss that here. Condition at a level of structure. Condition number 2, I want to see the creation of a simple chart pattern, like this head and shoulders pattern here, with our shoulder, head, neck, shoulder. Entry reason, that was all the conditions I need. Level of structure, chart pattern. Sorry guys, my memory card on my camera just got full, but conditions are now met. What am I looking for an entry? Buying pressure. I just want to see the price of the Aussie Canada show me it wants to go higher. That to me is something like one of these bigger green candles showing me buyers are stepping in at this shoulder. That is all I look for an entry using this strategy. And again, it doesn't work every time, of course, but it's something that's provided me with some insane profits over the years. And it's this simple. It's as simple as finding a higher time frame level of structure and looking for chart patterns, simple chart patterns at that level of structure. If you don't know how to trade chart patterns yet, I have a video I will put in the top right-hand corner of the screen that I did that talks about exactly how I trade chart patterns and my exact rules to get you caught up to speed on trading chart patterns. But with that being the case, and now that you know how I got involved in this trade on the Aussie Canada, and just to give you a little more insight, my plan here is to exit if we get below this level of structure. I don't want to be involved in this trade if price continues down and breaks below our support level. I expect this level to be our higher low, pushing us into trend. If that's not the case, then I'm getting out of the trade. And there may be a lot of you right now watching this video going, Steven, I've tried chart patterns and I've tried trading at major levels of structure on higher time frames, and that just does not work. The harsh reality is that 90% of the time, it's not the strategy that's not working. 90% of the time, it's the trader that is the problem. And let me explain. It's not like if you didn't know you were doing anything wrong, it's not like it's your fault for doing this. But my questions would be, if you've tried chart patterns at daily levels of structure, or chart patterns at higher time frame levels of structure before, did you do so with a correct risk management plan? Risking a very small portion of your account that made it to where losing that trade didn't affect you emotionally. Did you backtest this strategy in order to improve your belief and improve your trading psychology of it? And to prove to yourself that it is a money-making strategy over a long period of time or over a large sample size of trades. Those two things are almost never done by traders. Do you have proper expectations for a strategy, or are you expecting to find a strategy that wins all the time? Those three things are the major downfalls of traders. It's not always that the strategy doesn't work. If you've tried chart patterns at higher time frame levels of structure and it didn't work, how many trades did you place? Did you try it 5 times, lose 3 out of 5 trades and go, this shit doesn't work, and throw up your hands? All of those are mistakes that beginners and struggling traders that have been trading for years tend to be making. So my advice to you, if you have tried this before, or even if you haven't tried it, would be to ensure you take the proper steps to allow a strategy like this to be profitable. Have proper expectations. On these types of trades, I win between 55 and 65% of the time, depending on market conditions, the time of year, depending on a lot of factors. But the point is, I'm losing on average 40 out of 100 trades. That could come at 10 losses in a row, then 10 wins in a row. I have no idea where they're going to be, but out of 100 trades, on average, I lose 40. Are your expectations to win more, to not lose 40 trades over 100 trades? Have you ever even traded the same exact strategy for 100 trades in a row? Probably not, would be my guess. And if that's the case, again, it's not like I'm saying go trade a random strategy 100 times. You may blow your account. You don't know. What I'm saying is focus on trading psychology, focus on risk management, and backtest the strategy you're going to trade, whether it be this one or another one, to prove to yourself that it's at least made money over time, meaning it's projected to make money in the future. Because otherwise, what are you trading based on? Your gut feelings, your emotions, your opinions? That's not something that's ever going to work in trading. But after another rant that I thought was extremely necessary at this point in the video, let's now dive back into the Aussie Canada. So that's my plan moving forward here on Aussie Canada. Let's take a look at one more trade I'm already in. Then we'll dive into the entirety of the Forex market, Bitcoin and Ethereum, and discuss what I'm looking for moving into next week on all of those currency pairs and on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Here's another trade I am currently in. Now, let me go out to a daily chart and tell me, can you see why I was interested in this as a trading opportunity? Well, our first condition for this specific strategy is what? We want to see price be at a level of major structure. So here we have a push down on the pound Canada. We have a retracement and we have another push down. This level needs to be a major level, but also a recent level, right? This is the most recent level that broke in this downtrend. With that being the case, I then just look left and see, is that level a level that's been tested multiple times? If the answer to those two questions is yes, then I know condition number one is met. What's condition number two? Condition number two is dropping down to a smaller time frame. And I'll discuss what you need to do if you want to trade this on smaller time frames a little bit later. But condition number two is dropping down to a smaller time frame. After dropping to that smaller time frame, condition number two is finding our chart pattern, finding a double top or bottom or a head and shoulders pattern. Those are the two patterns that I personally trade. So in this case, what do you see? Price pushed up, created a top, pushed down to a neckline, pushed up a double top here. That creates my condition number two. That creates a valid condition number two. What's my entry reason? A red candle that looks convincing. At that point, and I have different candlestick patterns and different entry reasons. I'm just doing this for YouTube to make things extremely simple. And at that point though, after that red candle, I entered the trade, expecting price to drop down from our major level of structure and possibly continue in this overall downtrend. Hopefully you can see the logic behind this and how it can put me in really good positions to make well over a 1-to-1 reward to risk ratio just by the daily chart continuing in the trend it's already in. So that's the pound Canada trade. Now let's move on to trades that haven't happened yet, starting with the pound New Zealand, which is another trade I'm already in, but I'm losing in it currently, which is totally fine. You're going to have losing trades at times. What's our first condition? Our first condition is a higher time frame for me. That's the daily chart being at a level of structure. Now this is a counter trend trade, so I'm not looking for trend continuation, but instead looking for a bounce out of a major level of support. With that being the case, wherever price is, I just look left and see where the next level price is likely to hit is. I know this is a bit hard to see, just bear with me. If that level of price has been touched multiple times, that is considered to me, I call it an OTZ or optimal trading zone. So with that being the case, I drop down to my 4-hour chart and look for price patterns or chart patterns. What do you guys see here? Pretty easy because I already pointed it out. We have price pushing down into this area, creating one bottom, neckline, pushing down to our second bottom, big green candle, giving me confirmation of buyers. That big green candle being my entry reason, the higher time frame and double bottom being my two conditions. So there is my trade that I'm currently in on the pound New Zealand. At this point, we're going to start looking at currency pairs that haven't created chart patterns, but condition number one could possibly be met. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the preparation behind this strategy as well, starting with the euro dollar. Here on the euro dollar, here is the preparation that goes into this. I pointed this level out 2 weeks ago on the euro dollar. Why did I point this level out? Price was pushing down in this downtrend. Whenever we pull back, this is the next level of structure resistance that we are going to hit, right? With that being the case, I just scroll my chart left and ask myself, is it a level that's been tested more than once? Here's another time that the euro dollar tested that level. So yes, the answer is yes. That is now a valid condition number one, or what I call an OTZ. With this being a valid OTZ, what do you think I'm waiting on? Here at the level between 1.1706 and 1.1671 on the euro dollar. Here, I'm just waiting for price to get to this level and create some type of price pattern. And you may be thinking, Stephen, we just created a double top. You're absolutely right. But in my trading, it is so strict and rules based that I do not take a trade unless it actually touches my zone. So I need price to get into my zone before I can look for those chart patterns. But if you spotted that double top, good job. You're right. That is a chart pattern. Let's now take a look at the pound dollar here on this pair. If I zoom out to the daily chart, I actually didn't color this one green on accident. I turned it red, but this is supposed to be a level of support. This is the preparation I'm doing. I pointed this level out 2 days ago. So these aren't trades where you just go look at a chart and start trading. That's something a lot of beginners fall into, is they expect to have a trade every day. If you haven't planned for that trade, sometimes days or even weeks in advance, then you're probably not going to get into a trade. You need to prepare. And then when all of your stars are aligning, that's when you're supposed to get into trades. You're not supposed to get into trades that same day. As soon as you look at a chart, I really want to trade, and just press the buy button. That's going to help you blow your account, but not going to help you make money as a trader. Here on the pound dollar, I'm waiting for price to pull back into this area. If we don't pull back, then price just continues. I don't have a trade. That's totally fine. I'll look for the next trade. If price does pull back in this area is where I'll look for those chart patterns. Next up, we have the Aussie dollar. Here on this pair, we are currently inside of condition number one, meaning we're inside of a major level of structure. As you can see, price has used this level as resistance and as support looking left. If we've used the level multiple times and it is the most recent level of structure resistance that was broken, then I see that as a major level. Considering we're in a major level, I'm looking at the 4-hour chart for possible double bottoms. And if you spotted this and said, Stephen, we have what looks to be a possible double bottom, you would be correct. Right now, what am I looking for? Let's see if you're catching on right now. If we have condition number one met, we're inside of a level of major structure. We have condition number two met. We've created a double bottom. My next step is to wait to see if buyers are going to take control at this next bottom. Has that happened yet? No, I need to see a convincing green candle showing me buyers want to take control at this level. At that point, I have all I need and I can go ahead and place my buy trade. So those are a few of the currency pairs that I'm looking at for possible trades moving into next week and literally right now here on the Aussie dollar. Let's move on now because I don't want this video going super long. It's already pushing 15 minutes. Let's move on to talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum and the levels I'm paying attention to on those. So on Bitcoin, we have just pushed through a level of structure I was paying attention to right here at this 4-hour level. And just so it's clear, on Bitcoin, Ethereum, all cryptocurrencies, instead of swing trading long term like I do on Forex pairs and going from the daily chart as my higher time frame structure level to the 4-hour chart for my entry reason, on crypto, I go from the 4-hour chart for my levels of structure down to the 1-hour chart for my possible entries. And that is exactly how you would handle it if you wanted to trade smaller time frames in Forex or stocks or anything else. Just move down one time frame. So if you want to look at the 4-hour chart for your possible major levels of structure, 1 hour would be your entry. If you want to look at 1 hour for your major levels of structure, 15 minutes is where you'd look for those chart patterns, so on and so forth. Okay, so next up here on Bitcoin, the line you see is when we broke into brand new highs on Bitcoin. Really exciting for everybody in the crypto world. And next up, what I'm looking at is an area on Bitcoin between 59,047 and 57,698. This is an area that price has used multiple times as support, and whoa, that is a huge black line, as support and resistance. Looking left, multiple times. So with that being the case, this is an area that I'll be paying attention to. What do you think I'm looking for in this area? In this area, I trade crypto the same exact way. I'm going to be looking for a double bottom or a head and shoulders pattern on a smaller time frame like the 1 hour chart. That's my analysis here on Bitcoin right now. What I'm looking at before jumping into a buy trade at this moment is something like that to happen. I actually just exited my position on Ethereum right up here. We're now pulling back. Don't worry, I'm buying back in if we end up getting buying pressure from my first buy zone, which is this major level of structure. So this is condition 1, my major level of structure on the 4 hour chart. What I'll be looking for now is what? A double bottom on the 1 hour chart in this area, or a head and shoulders pattern in that area on a 1 hour chart. If that fails, or if price just continues pushing lower, in that instance, and in that case, I'm waiting for price to get down here between the 3760, 3640 area. This is another area I'll look for those chart patterns. Again, if you're unfamiliar with chart patterns, I have a full video that will be in the top right-hand corner of the screen. If you type in chart patterns and look for the video from the trading channel, I think we're in like the top 3 videos that pop up if you just type in chart patterns on YouTube. So that's what I'm looking at here on Ethereum and Bitcoin as well. And hopefully by now you have a really good grasp of this extremely easy strategy that's helped me gain massive amounts of profits over the years. But now what I want to do is talk a little bit about the expectations of strategies. Again, we've already talked about the fact that a lot of beginners come in thinking that a strategy is going to win every time, and that's just not the case. What you have to consider is that every trade is not going to win. This is why we have things like risk management. This is why we must have a statistic advantage. And I want you to think of it like this. A casino consistently has an advantage over the person coming in and gambling. You can look up casino statistics on Google and it'll tell you the advantage the casino has for every game. But there's a game called blackjack. A lot of you are probably familiar with blackjack, where you can count cards. You're probably familiar with counting cards. And what you can do is flip that advantage from the casino's favor to your favor by counting cards. In trading, the market is the casino. The market, institutional traders, banks, they have an advantage over us retail traders. They have more resources. They have better data. They have better internet speeds and connections. They have an advantage over us. Broker charges us spreads. The market has the advantage. But us having a strategy that gives us an edge over a long period of time is like us counting cards in blackjack, except it's not illegal or frowned upon. So this is why we have to find a way of trading that produces a consistent advantage, not right now, not in one single trade, but that advantage that plays out over a long period of time. We call that advantage a rules-based strategy. If you want to learn more about rules-based strategies, then go ahead and check out our free course at www.ttcforex.com. This course will walk you through the process of building a strategy that can give you an edge over any market that you trade, whether that's Forex, crypto, or stocks. Also, if you're interested in some more advanced training, we do have some space available in the EAP training program right now. So if you'd like to join us in that, it's our flagship program, which comes with a full course that teaches you the strategies I trade, along with teaches you about risk management, teaches you how to backtest and optimize trading strategies, and much more available in the course. And along with that, it's a mentor program. So I'll be there supporting you through email every step of the way. If you have any questions about trading, it'll be me personally answering those questions. Also, we have a Monday market breakdown video that's kind of like this that I do every single Monday for traders involved in the EAP training program. My voice is starting to go out. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. If you're interested in that, go to www.eaptrainingprogram.com. Also, the link is in the description for both of these things, the free course and the EAP. If you're not interested in either of those, that's totally fine too. Just make sure you keep it locked here by subscribing so you don't miss out on more content we come out like this. Make sure to click that video and comment if you made it to the end of the video. I wish you guys all the best of luck in your future trades, and I'll talk to you in the next video. See you soon.